Every successful institution is guided by a vision, and every vision is translated into reality through leadership. As we begin this workshop, it is most appropriate that we hear from the institution that has been at the forefront of India's underwater technology journey. It is now my proud privilege to invite a visionary leader and the driving force behind several pioneering initiatives at NIOT, Professor Balaji Ramakrishnan, Director NIOT, to deliver the welcome address and present the underwater robotics vision. Over to you, sir.
Chief Guest, National Maritime Security Coordinator, Honorable Vice Admiral Biswajit Dasgupta ji, Rear Admiral Prasanna ji, VSM Joint Secretary NSCS, my dear colleague, mentor and well-wisher, Mission Director Deep Ocean Mission, Dr. Ramanamurthy garu, my dear colleague, Mr. Dependable, Deputy Director, Mission Projects Management of NIOT, Dr. Ramesh, invited speakers, distinguished experts from academia, research institution and industry, students. So there are about 100 students gathered behind this hall. This hall has a capacity of restricted only to 200. So we have 100 students actually gathered here. They define the future of our country. They always address them future of India. Sponsors, media personals, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm good morning to all of you. It gives me immense pleasure in welcoming you all to this National Underwater Workshop, Robotics Workshop. A unique 2 days technical program to share knowledge and exchange ideas on the underwater technological domain. We are delighted to have participants from across the country representing academia, industry, R&D organizations, underwater technological users, various stakeholders have assembled here today. We believe that this is a new beginning, and the outcome of this workshop would help us in drafting a roadmap for a larger framework and coordinated efforts in the development of underwater robotics in our country. With more than 3 decades of relentless, illustrated, and successful R&D efforts in the field of ocean technologies, NIOT, we believe, is the right place to organize workshop of this kind. And I'm very happy to welcome you all to this unique institute that focuses on sustainable technological development to harness marine living as well as non-living resources. With more than 2 million square kilometers of exclusive economic zone, comparable to the area of the landmass, India's blue economy potentials are so huge, so much so that even a small fraction of the same is tapped effectively. I'm sure our nation's GDP would rise to a new heights. Living resources, we talk about fisheries, seaweeds, deep sea aquaculture, marine microbes to medicines, and then we have non-living resources. We generate water, potable water from the oceans. We generate electricity from marine renewable energy sources. We tap minerals. We talk about shipping, ports, shipbuilding, coastal tourism, many more of these potential we are talking about. With a limited understanding on the marine resources, in fact, the actual blue economy potential of our nation is yet to be completely estimated, in my personal opinion. There is a say in our language, Tamil, Kattrathu Kaiman Alavu, which means any human's knowledge through learning process has always been just a handful of sand in their entire life. If that's the case, when it comes to the learning and knowledge about the marine resource potential, it's just one single sand grain in the handful of the sand we are talking about. We need wide range of ocean technologies, including surface and subsurface autonomous systems, even to estimate and to understand the quantum of blue economic potentials within our EEZ. The workshop precisely aims to identify technology gaps, promoting indigenization, assessing industry readiness, understand the requirements from users and other stakeholding agencies, and to evaluate infrastructure requirement in the country with a view of national framework on underwater robotics. In addition to this, my dear friends, NIOT has not only been the pioneer, but also in the forefront of capacity building in the field of underwater autonomous systems. I am sure you would be aware of the fact that we have successfully organized a series of students' autonomous underwater vehicle competition. It's called SAVE, straight from 2011 to 2019, where NIOT has actually funded 6 winning teams to attend global underwater autonomous competition in USA that promoted, to be honest with you, 2 interesting startups in this company. I don't want to name them, but I think probably you will come to know very soon. After a brief pause, NIOT has come back again to organize the SAVE competition starting from this year onwards with the 2 different objectives, 2 different winning teams. One goes to USA with the funding support from NIOT, and other gets seed grant R&D funding and opportunity to work with us. Yes, one team goes to US, the other team comes to us. Our motto for the young students is come, compete among yourself, celebrate the winning, and then collaborate with us actually for the way forward. Even in this workshop, 2 days workshop, NIOT has actually opened great opportunity for young students to showcase their talents through poster presentations and live underwater model demonstrations with the chances of winning lucrative cash prizes. Yesterday, this institute has witnessed the surface vehicle maneuvering competition amongst the student generations. 26 teams have participated, 6 chosen for demonstration, and 3 are going to win the prizes. I am also taking this opportunity to quickly go through NIOT's accomplishments, current developments, and future plans in the underwater technologies. Can I have the slides? Yeah, thank you. In the interest of time, I will skip this. I will straight away go here. Established in the year 1993, we are completing 33 years of service to the nation through science, engineering, and technological development. NIOT has grown by leaps and bounds with its headquarters in Chennai, this very campus where we all have gathered here today. We have 2 more campuses in Andhra Pradesh, one of which is very interestingly has got a seafront of about 150 acres. We have yet another campus in Sri Vijayapuram, erstwhile Port Blair in Andaman. And my dear friends, as we speak, Government of Odisha and Lakshadweep administration are seriously considering in allocating field stations for NIOT with their respective states. NIOT has recently transformed itself to a new avatar and geared up to take more challenges. We are now ready to face any mission mode projects as well as the continuing operational programs of the ministry. New verticals that consolidate and combine the strength of this institute. Our young scientists who would be serving beyond 2047 has drafted a beautiful Vision 2047 document of this institute with a large number of ambitious projects. In fact, when I spoke to them, they said, with the heads high, sir, this may look ambitious, but very much doable within 2047. All of this is actually inbuilt in our vision document, and anybody is interested in actually they can visit our website to get the published document 2047 available at their disposal. And in all our R&D efforts, they follow the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And you can see the picture at the bottom basically tells you the range of UN's SDG goals that we address through our R&D programs. As we all know, NIOT has actively been in the development of a 6,000 meter rated human submersible under the Deep Ocean Mission program Bhayamariyaan, the design of which is entirely in-house. Designed for 3-member crew with a mission endurance of 12 hours, the system is targeted for 500 meter deployment on a pilot scale by this year 2026, and ultimately for 5,500 meter deep ocean operations by 2027. There are at least 10 distinct technological futures that places our Matsya 6000 on a different pedestal of global human submersible map as the 4th generation category. Our team can narrate all of these details of 10 distinct technological futures anytime that is really required. Our team is also working on a human-occupied subsea observatory for underwater research and long-term monitoring applications, and the conceptual design has already started actually brewing up inside the campus. And another mission submersible, manned submersible with enhanced viewing capability is also in pipeline. These efforts represent India's growing capability and self-reliance in deep sea technologies, supporting scientific explorations, strategic applications, and the future of blue economy. Our journey, NIOT's beautiful journey, began around 2010 in the development of deep water ROV systems, where the primary focus of our team was on the hydrostatistics, hydrodynamics, structural integration, and field testing. These efforts established the foundation for deep sea technologies in our country. Polar and shallow water ROV with enhanced capabilities in communication, navigation, and control systems suitable for harsh marine environment was also developed in the later stage. By 2021, the focus shifted towards autonomous underwater vehicles, AUVs, integrating underwater survey systems, image processing, and acoustic telemetry for autonomous ocean operations. At present, our team's major development are centered around the Matsya 6000 program and advanced underwater technologies such as high energy batteries, buoyancy systems, digital twins, human support systems, and underwater autonomy. The upcoming phase targets AUV homing and docking technologies. Our team has already started working on it. Wireless power transfer, underwater data transmission, and AI-guided autonomous operations for long duration missions. Looking ahead to 2028 and beyond, we aspire to develop 6,000 meter rated deep water autonomous system with enhanced endurance and intelligent mission capabilities. Further into the future, swarm AUV technologies with decentralized, cooperative control and bio-inspired smart underwater vehicles powered by fuel cell technologies are envisioned by 2035. This roadmap, we believe, not only represent technological advancement, but also strategic move towards indigenous capability development within the country, smart ocean exploration, and sustainable blue economic growth. NIOT is currently developing Trinetra 100, a compact autonomous underwater platform designed for surveys and intelligent mission operations. Tirel 300 is an advanced modular AUV platform developed exclusively for enhanced endurance, navigation, and payload integration. To support long-term autonomous missions, we are developing Shakti 100 docking station for underwater docking, charging, as well as data transfer, which is a critical technology for present ocean operations. Another important development is the OI 6000, a 6,000 meter rated AUV designed for deep sea exploration and scientific missions. The system integrates advanced navigation sensors, pressure resistant structures, acoustic communication, and modular payload sections. Our approach in all of these efforts remain the same 4D philosophy. We would like to design, develop, demonstrate, and deliver to the society with a strong emphasis on the indigenization, autonomy, and future-ready underwater robotic system. The key strength of NIOT is our fleet of technological research vessels, which enable offshore deployment, testing, and ocean observations, and deep sea operations. But we believe, sir, that the nation requires more state-of-the-art research vessels for deep sea explorations as well. And the kind of research vessels right now we have, I think it has to be, enhanced to cater into the deep sea explorations continuously. In addition, NIOT houses globally recognized acoustic test facility, a very unique facility in the country that supports our calibration and validation of underwater acoustic sensors, communication systems, and sonar technologies. Hyperbaric test facility, which is capable of testing up to 900 bar pressure, a very, very unique the facility, which will soon be upgraded to 1500 bar, and state-of-the-art integration bays are also available at our disposal in the campus. NIOT is currently working on the development of multiple unique infrastructure in our various campuses at various stages of progress. So we are planning to have a deep ocean simulator, DOS 900, where we can test actually full system, entire system, bigger than actually what we have right now, the simulator. Establishment of a national deep sea technology integration bay, which is a special ecosystem that we would like to develop, and that will help us in continuous strengthening of indigenous deep sea technology ecosystem in the country. And these facilities are going to be coming up very soon. As we all aware of the fact that underwater robotics is not built by a single organization like NIOT, just NIOT, but through a strong ecosystem of collaborations among academia, R&D institutions, industries, startups, user agencies, and policymakers. Some of our collaborators have been mentioned actually here. Our vision is aligned with Atmanirbhar Bharat, focusing on indigenization towards blue economy growth, ocean explorations, industry development, and global leadership in the ocean technologies. The roadmap ahead of us demands innovation, collaboration, sustainability, and continuous human resource development. Together, we can transform India into a global hub for underwater robotics and smart ocean exploration. Once again, I warmly welcome you all to this national level underwater robotics workshop. I hope you will have a pleasant, fruitful, and enriching stay at NIOT. Our organizing team will be happy to assist you with any support that is required related to the workshop and associated activities. Sir, there are two things that connect all of us gathered in this auditorium. One is the nation, and the second one is ocean. Interestingly, both are printed in our institute's name, National Institute of Ocean Technology. Thank you, and wish you a wonderful experience at UWR 2026. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir, for establishing NIOT leadership in underwater technology, Ocean for the Nation. It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. M.V. Ramnamurthy, Mission Director, Deep Ocean Mission, and a distinguished expert in coastal and ocean engineering with extensive experience in desalination, offshore wind energy, coastal hazard management, and marine ecosystem conservation. He has led several high-impact national projects. His contributions have been recognized with the Ocean Technology Award in 2021 for outstanding work in ocean and coastal research. May I invite sir to deliver the special address.
Very good morning to all. Honorable Chief Guest, Vice Admiral Biswit Dasgupta ji, and Rear Admiral Sri Prasanna ji, Dr. Balaji, Director NIOT, and Dr. Ramesh, colleagues from NIOT and various institutions, most importantly students and also from the industry. Very good morning to all and welcome to this important two-day workshop on that. Actually, Professor Balaji has mentioned about importance of NIoT role and then what need to be done for the future. In fact, this particular workshop has started from, I should say, thanks to Prasannaji. When we had a meeting at his office, he was telling how do we take and strategize this underwater robotics in a big way and utilize expertise of all the institutions also in the industry in one single platform. That was the start point. I think now it has come to the reality, and I personally thank Vice Admiral also sparing his time and coming here all the way from Delhi and spending for the 2 days with us. So basically what we would like to do is, I think as a part of the deep ocean mission, under the vertical one we have two major components, three especially, in fact three. One is on the manned submersible, human submersible which is being built by NIoT. Second one is on the deep sea mining. Third component is underwater robotics. In fact, it was on a very low phase in the initial stage. Now it has taken its own full shape. I think today we are going to inaugurate that center also as a part of that. In fact, Mr. Prasannaji was asking about only virtual center to be developed, but I think Dr. Balaji has taken initiative to have a physical center also at this particular place for that. Now we all know that underwater robotics plays a very vital role, especially in mapping of the ocean, not only on the mapping but also on the rescue or even national security, including new science areas can be discovered from there. A lot of unknown areas can be mapped with underwater robotics for that. For that, what we need to have a stable platform and also good collaboration among the national institutions. In fact, under Deep Ocean Mission, we have already sponsored some projects related to various institutions like some of the IIT Chennai, IIT Guwahati and IIT Rupar, but also many other institutions. I think in fact SRM and then VIT from the local institutes are also a part of this whole initiative for that. Now it is only the time to integrate all those things and take it for the actual utilization for the civil society, also for the national security. I am sure that this particular 2 days conference will build a new insight and collaborative efforts among the stakeholders and also to take it forward in the big way where we will be in a position to develop systems for the country's benefit. In fact, when I have visited a Scripps Institute of Oceanography, with a small group of 4 or 5 people, they are developing AUs and ROVs for that. But why NIoT cannot do for that? In fact, this initiative is going to be one of the important initiatives for the country, mapping of the ocean floor and also to discover many resources from the ocean for that. And I am confident that next 2 days you will have a more interaction and then also to provide a more insight into this underwater robotics area. This is one of the niche area for the NIoT to take up in the future for that. I thank for this opportunity, for sharing the experience and what has been done as a part of the Deep Ocean Mission. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It's my privilege to introduce Rear Admiral TVN Prasanna, a Visishta Seva medalist and a distinguished navigation and direction specialist commissioned into the Indian Navy in 1991. With over 17 years of operational sea service, he has held key command and staff appointments, including command of INS Kirpan and INS Jalashwa, India's only landing platform dock. May I now kindly invite Rear Admiral TVN Prasanna to deliver the introductory address.
The NMSC, Secretaries, Professor Balaji, Director NIoT, other directors, subject matter experts, representatives of the Indian scientific organizations, industry, academia, distinguished guests, both online and offline, students, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. At the outset, thank you, Professor Balaji, for giving me this opportunity to deliver the introductory remarks. My compliments to all of you too for taking the time out and joining this workshop, and I'm looking forward to your keen participation. We are all aware that the oceans are the next frontier of mankind and they are a means for survival and sustenance as well as for national prosperity. With every passing day, The nations are turning to the oceans for their every deed, and an undeclared race to beat others in this domain is taking shape. In the recent years, India's maritime consciousness has witnessed an upward trajectory, and the maritime domain is receiving national importance. The government of India is keen on moving forward to harness this maritime potential, and it understands that this domain is a significant contributor to its GDP. Therefore, it has a direct relation to the national security as well. The technological evolution in robotics sector, use of AI, ML tools, and more importantly, employment of the unmanned systems is assuming center stage. A lot of lessons are being learned, especially so from the UAV ecosystem or the unmanned aerial vehicle ecosystem. There the growth has been haphazard, however exponential, but there have been no system in place to vet or rationalize the qualitative requirements of the multiple users operating on the near similar environment. This has resulted in less of synergy and more of work in silos. Every user organization is individually pursuing or inducting unmanned aerial technology. Further, a dedicated strategy or a policy guidance specifying manufacturing standards, rationalizing the requirements of multiple users, or mechanism to share information between stakeholders is also lacking. Coming to the underwater domain, which we are discussing today, the challenges are almost similar, such as no major policy, research being undertaken in silos, and no manufacturing standards or minimal user interface. In addition to the huge cost implications being the testing area being the sea and the ocean, and the complex operating environment, which is much more complex than the air domain. Our current ecosystem lacks the benefit of pollination between stakeholders. Therefore, policy guidelines or a roadmap to bridge the gaps by providing guidance to standards, joint development of underwater technology, testing and trials of prototypes, and more importantly, establishing a self-sustaining ecosystem promoting Atmanirbharta is essential. A number of these issues were discussed in the underwater robotics domain at NSCS in January this year with a number of stakeholders, and post deliberations, the establishment for the start of a discussion forum under the chairmanship of the National Maritime Security Coordinator was approved at the highest level, and the conduct of this workshop was one of the decisions taken at that meeting. The oceans are too vast, too complex, and too consequential for any single entity to understand and manage alone. Bringing together all stakeholders, that is scientists, engineers, policymakers, industry, defense organizations, academia, government representatives was a critical and essential requirement. Therefore, this workshop, these 2 days, that is today and tomorrow, will mark an important chapter in the future of underwater robotics. All stakeholders are here under one roof with an intent to deliberate, discuss and find opportunities and ideas to put together a better and a self-sustained ecosystem in the field of underwater robotics. I would like to wish all the participants of the workshop the very best outcomes through your professional interactions, and once again my thanks to Professor Balaji and Team NIOT for their efforts in making this event possible. Let's have a fruitful workshop. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your words on growing strategic significance of underwater technologies. It's my privilege to introduce our chief guest, Vice Admiral Biswajit Das Gupta, the National Maritime Security Coordinator and the National Security Council Secretariat, and former Commander-in-Chief of the Navy's Eastern Naval Command. He has served the Indian Navy with distinction for 4 decades. During his illustrious career, he commanded 4 frontline warships, including the aircraft carrier INS Virat, and held several key leadership appointments across operations, training, personnel management, and strategic command. A recipient of Param Visishta Seva Medal, Ati Visishta Seva Medal, Yuddha Vishishta Seva Medal, and Vishishta Seva Medal. He currently provides apex level guidance and coordinates maritime security efforts among stakeholders across the nation. I kindly invite Vice Admiral Biswajit Dasgupta to deliver a talk on India's strategic vision. Sir, please.
Good morning to everybody. It's a great pleasure to be here. I will start with a few layman comments before I paint a bigger picture of what our strategic vision should be in the maritime domain. You know, if God wanted us to live underwater, God would have made all of us fishes. So, since humans don't live underwater or don't live at sea, the focus is largely very land-centric. And therefore, efforts at developing the oceans and developing ocean technologies and various other things related to the oceans have been typically very slow. Now, if we talk about underwater technologies and various other things, let me also talk about, for example, air-independent propulsion. Every fish in this world has air-independent propulsion. We are still struggling with the technology. Another observation that I have is that when you start from the air and come to the surface and go below water, everything slows down. You know, from speed to communications to development of technology, it slows down drastically. So there are tremendous number of challenges that are associated with the underwater domain. And that is, I think, one of the reasons why the underwater technology, the ocean technology, has not proceeded as quick as several other domains. The sailfish is the fastest fish in the world. It navigates at 30 to 50 miles per hour underwater without nuclear propulsion. And here we have the best technologies in the world with nuclear propulsion, and they are barely touching 30 knots underwater. Underwater technology, how long earlier do you think it has been in existence? The heights of underwater technology. If you go back to Indian mythology, what was the first avatar of Lord Vishnu? The Matsya avatar. That means as long as our consciousness has been existing, there has been underwater life and there has been all kinds of underwater technology. And here we are in the middle of the 21st century struggling with the basics of underwater technology. So it requires a strategic vision. There are countries which have done better than us. You know the countries that I am talking about. The technologically advanced nations have done much better than us as far as this area is concerned. But I think it is time for us to also up our game. As we have heard, that, you know, the maritime environment is gaining more and more importance as days go by. So I would like to firstly thank the Director NIOT, Professor Balaji Ramakrishnan, for getting all of us together here and giving us a chance to discuss these matters and see what direction our country needs to take, not just in underwater robotics, but overall in the maritime domain, in the maritime scientific domain. So the exponential growth of everything in the maritime domain is something which is called the blue acceleration. You might have read about it. The blue acceleration is that over the last 20 years or so, every endeavor that has been associated with the maritime domain has evolved and increased exponentially. Whether it is offshore exploration, or whether it is tourism, or whether it is security, or whether it is trade, anything to do with the maritime domain has increased exponentially. And there is no indication that this is going to reverse in the near future. So the vast areas that we have above water and underwater remain untapped, and there is immense potential for research, for technology, for manufacturing, for business, for jobs, for employment. Everything that you can think of, the oceans are limitless in terms of the potential that they have. And quite rightly, the government of India has launched several initiatives in this direction, from shipbuilding to risk management to addressing pollution and various other things. Now, why I tell you all this is that the reason that we are sitting over here today is that underwater technology, or underwater robotics, underwater vehicles, underwater sensors are perhaps one of the greatest enablers of all these developments. And if we are able to harness this potential correctly, I think we will be able to harness the wealth of the oceans and the potential that the oceans have for human benefit. We've heard the director of the Deep Ocean Mission telling us things. We also heard the director of NIOT telling us many good things that have happened in this direction. And I'm sure we will hear more about it from the people who want to speak today and tomorrow. So let me touch upon a few strategic and security concerns. One is that maritime threats are increasing rapidly. And therefore, in every aspect of maritime endeavor, there is some threat or the other. Even in the underwater domain, there are several areas where there are challenges and threats. We have offshore exploration, we have deep sea exploration, we have undersea cables, we have our offshore platforms, we have various other things. And where there is a great contribution of the underwater domain, there is a great potential for underwater technology, and there are also security challenges. In the defense and security area, submarine operations, underwater domain awareness is something which is a matter of very important discussion in the strategic circles today. You know, people talk about the blue economy. What is the blue economy? The blue economy is nothing but your country's economy enhanced by the oceans. That means how blue is your economy is the right question to ask. Every country has an economy, but how blue is it? How much have you involved the oceans in that economy? How much benefit are you deriving from the oceans in the overall economy of the country? So bluing of the economy is conceptually clearer than a blue economy. So as far as that is concerned, you are aware that the resources on land are depleting. The world's population has crossed 8 billion. Land resources are inadequate to cater for the future. The population is going to touch 10 billion by 2035. And therefore, unless the wealth of the oceans are harnessed in a sustainable manner, the future is grim for humanity. And therefore, the importance of the oceans, the importance of technology that we can use to harness the oceans and related aspects. Now, we have done reasonably well in the development of underwater vehicles, as Professor Balaji has told us, but there are still several challenges. And we have to see where the world has gone in technology and where we stand. What is it that we are dependent upon outside countries to help us? Among those things, what is it that we can try to develop ourselves with partnerships with academia, with friendly foreign countries, or with other agencies, innovators, scientists, professionals in the field? How can we do a little better? Another thing is that underwater robotics technology has its own challenges. Firstly, it is very expensive. There are no economies of scale. Technology is very, very high-end, not easily available. There is not enough research being done in our country for underwater technology. In fact, ocean engineering, for that matter. I would like to suggest that we must have dedicated maritime, ocean research, underwater research, oceanic research universities. If not one, at least a few of them in the country, to harness all these aspects. There are a handful of, bright sparks, one being NIOT. There are certain other universities in our country which have departments of ocean engineering. But I think this is one area which can be sort of aggregated much better. If we had a couple of ocean universities in the country, I think it would provide greater focus. It would provide a greater direction to young people who want to develop themselves in this field. It would create job opportunities, it would create ideas, it would create a lot of human capital. Marine survey, marine scientific research is something which Professor Balaji touched upon. I think it is high time we have a very, very capable scientific research fleet. We are one of the largest countries in the world. We are a developing nation. We have a lot of interests at sea. We have 1/6 of the world's population to feed. And with the dependence on the oceans, if we do not have a credible maritime scientific research fleet, one, we shall not be able to exploit the oceans to the extent that we wish. We will have outsiders coming in and doing that here. And we will lose the opportunity to provide this expertise to countries in our neighborhood. And that vacuum, that strategic space will be filled up by somebody else. So, what is the way ahead? I think we need to get our minds clear on what we want as an underwater robotics framework or a strategy for this country. What are the kind of technologies that we require? What are the resources that we require? What are the capabilities that we require? What kind of coordination do we require? How do we want to develop our human capital? What kind of engineers do we want? What kind of operators do we want? What kind of academic research do we want? How do you want to encourage the industry? How do you want to encourage the innovators? How do you want to encourage the startups? How do you want to develop your simulation and testing infrastructure without running to foreign countries every 6 months? How do you want to handle your data? Data is the foundation for everything else. If there are hundreds of agencies collecting data, where does the data go? How does it get collected? How does it get collated? What kind of protocols do you require? Can you share that data? Who's going to do the analysis? What kind of distribution do you want that data to happen so that people can use it effectively for national good? Thereafter, how would you like to govern the oceans? What kind of policies do you require? What kind of governance do you require? What do you need at the apex level? What do you need at the state levels? What do you need at the professional levels, at the industry levels? So I think it is time to think very, very seriously about all these things in a holistic manner. Each of us have been doing our jobs very well to the extent that we can, to the extent of knowledge that we can, but I think there is room for more synergy, there is room for more talking to each other, there is a need for greater aggregation, and there is a need to see the future. There is a need to have a common vision that 20 years from now or 30 years from now, what is it, where is it that we see India's ocean engineering going? Where do we see India's ocean exploitation going? Where do you see underwater robotics going as an enabler of all these things? So I think that is what should be our larger aim when we are talking about a strategic vision. It is my intention to have this discussion forum on underwater robotics, for which I have been charged by the National Security Advisor, to have a discussion periodically. I don't know what periodicity, maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months, I really don't know. We will discuss it. I'll come to know after the day's proceedings tomorrow, that what is it we need to discuss, where do we need to focus, how do we need to break down our discussions, and how often do we need to have this, so that everybody is under one roof, try to understand each other, try to see what the strengths, opportunities, and future is together. So that is the intention. Intentions are very good. Now intentions are only as good as we collectively make it. And I really hope that this is a good start point and we only proceed further and higher, deeper from here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful address, which has provided a strategic roadmap, and it inspires us to accelerate the underwater technology development at a highest pace. It's apt time to release the abstract volume of the workshop. May I request our dignitaries to kindly release the abstract volume of the workshop. The volume brings together valuable research contribution, innovative ideas, and technical advancements being presented in this workshop. Thank you very much, sir, for releasing the volume.
Thank you, sir. As a mark of respect and appreciation, we shall now felicitate our distinguished dignitaries. I request Professor Balaji Ramakrishnan, Director NAOT, to felicitate our Chief Guest, Vice Admiral Biswajit Das Gupta, with a shawl and memento.
Thank you very much, sir, for your gracious presence and inspiring us. May I request Dr. S. Ramesh, Deputy Director NIOT, to felicitate Rear Admiral TVN Prasanna. Thank you very much, sir. Your presence inspires us.
Thank you, sir. I request Dr. S. Ramesh to felicitate our director, Professor Balaji Ramakrishnan.
Thank you very much, sir. I thank all the dignitaries on the dais for their gracious presence. May I now request all the dignitaries and invited delegates to kindly proceed in front of the auditorium for the group photograph, followed by inauguration of underwater robotics workshop, exhibition and high tea. The high tea for the dignitaries, delegates and group directors will be arranged in Rajendra Chola and for NIOT staff at Manthan Hall. Thank you very much.